We're continuing our Beyond the Barometer series, and no severe weather in the forecast, but we had a bout of it on Friday. And we want to talk about our policies about cutting in.
Yeah, we often get questions from people, how do you determine when to break into programming? Because obviously, severe weather happens around here, and we have to really make a decision on our end what we're going to do. So let's start out by taking a look at our severe weather policy here for the station. If we can go to the graphic there. We're going to the graph. There we go. As far as breaking into programming, the first concern is the danger to the public. So that tornado warnings, no-brainer, we're on the air. But even for high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, the National Weather Service is now putting impact statements into some of the severe weather warnings. So if we're expecting high winds of greater than hurricane force, 75 miles an hour or greater, very similar to what happened in Fort Atkinson. That was probably not a tornado, but just straight-line winds. But you saw the damage that we showed earlier in the newscast. So that's the first concern. We have that kind of danger to the public. We're on the air. Storm severity and location. Are we looking at higher-end severe thunderstorm warnings, or maybe are we looking at a marginal severe thunderstorm warning in a rural area that might not be affecting very many people? We take that into consideration as to whether or not to break into programming. Another thing we look at is, can we cover commercials? I mean, we make our money off of commercials, and people would love us to just interrupt commercials, and we actually do try to do that. Even though it costs us money, at least we can show you the programming as much as possible. But it depends on when the commercials are. For example, during football or during golf, we don't know when those commercial breaks are going to be. They're determined by what's going on in the game. So football game, those commercials breaks usually occur when we have a change of possession or something like that. So again, we don't necessarily know when that's going to be. If we need to break into programming, we might need to do it earlier rather than later. We also look at the timing of the program. Are we at the last part of a cliffhanger, last episode of the season? Can we delay the warning, maybe a minute or so you can see that, or getting ready to kick the game-winning field goal, or make the last second putt? Those are things that we take into consideration as well. And then also, is the information new? A lot of times we have multiple warnings. We keep breaking into programming. Maybe we just did a warning for Dane County and for Columbia County, and the storms are moving eastward toward Dodge and Jefferson counties. And then right after we get off the air, a new warning comes out for those counties. So do we really need to break into programming? We've already told you what's going on there. We might make a decision not to break into programming there. But it really is up to the meteorologist. I mean, we in the long run, and we have the decision when to break into programming, and not everybody's going to agree with it, but that's
it goes across the board. We can't pinpoint, just have our signal go to Columbia County.
That's the other thing too. People don't often understand, when we break into programming, we have to break into programming for everyone. Technologically, there's not a way to break into programming just for the people that are in the warning area and keep the program going for everybody else. That's the unfortunate part. Now, the next generation of television might be able to do that if they make use of all the technology, but that's still going to be years down the road.
We won't be around to see that.
Well, it's basically, well, I mean, there are parts of the country where they're already doing it. Whether or not they're doing it for severe weather is another thing. But basically, it marries internet and over-the-air TV so that we could deliver part of the severe weather information via the internet and keep the program going for everybody else. But again, that has not come to Madison yet, and it still may be years off. But those are all valid concerns, and people ask, and they want to know, and we want to be upfront with them. But like I say, it's a difficult decision. We look at a lot of different factors, and
safety first.
Safety first. Yep. But we also realize that there are people that are not being affected by the storm that are miles away that are losing their programming as well. So
can't be selfish.
Right.
All right, Gary. Thank you.
You're welcome.